here, okay, let's talk about the online. So I'm very excited. This is what I'm very excited for Guilty Gear Strive because this is not the first, right? This is not the first game that Arcsys released with rollback netcode because they re-released Guilty Gear Accent Core Steam version with rollback netcode, and everyone, I'm just hearing good things from everyone about that, which means hopefully the online of Guilty Gear Strive is gonna be good. Yeah, it uses the same type of network players enjoyed in the previous title, Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus are in Steam, which people are saying it's good. It's a nice experience. So I'm hoping that that goes the same with Guilty Gear Strive. If you've played the other Arcsys games, if you've played Dragon Ball Fighters or Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and I'm talking about those because those are the ones I've played. Those are delay-based netcodes, and when it's like a delay-based netcode, it means what they do is they limit the amount of players that you can connect to because the netcode isn't as good with handling farther areas compared to rollback. So when you play a game like Dragon Ball Fighters, they will on purpose limit the amount of people that you can connect to so that you can connect to people with decent connections, and it's not always decent. So it's like they limit the amount of people you can connect, which means if you're not in an area that has a lot of people playing it, you're gonna have fewer online interactions, especially if you're like in Southeast Asia. So I'm talking about this in my perspective as a person who plays in Southeast Asia. There's like very few people who go into lobbies and very few people who have decent connections with you if you go into the lobbies. So I like that they're doing rollback netcode for Guilty Gear Strive, which because it means that there's a good possible good future in the online of Guilty Gear Strive, which means hopefully I'll be able to play more people when I play online matchmaking because there's not a lot of people who play games outside of Tekken here in the Philippines, at least. So if there's not a lot of people playing and you have delayed based netcode, you can't connect to people farther away from you. Like they have a very low chance of connecting people in Japan, and even if you do that, you're probably not gonna have a good connection because it's delay based. We still have yet to see. We have a few more months. We have Feb, March, and a little bit of April before we can test out the game. I'm very hopeful. I hope online in Guilty Gear is gonna be much better than the whole Arcsys games because I love Arcsys games. I would say I'm a simp for Arcsys games, but the online is just not a fun experience, especially if you're playing in Southeast Asia. Because in Southeast Asia, delayed based netcode it's not that good. Except for Tekken. The only reason why it works for Tekken is because there's like so many people who are playing Tekken. Even if they limit the amount of people you can connect to, you're still gonna be able to connect to a lot of people. There's like so many people playing around you. But like for games that aren't as big as Tekken, that's not so much the case.